The truth is the truth.
I got someone called John here.
Who's playing hide and seek at Souter Lighthouse?
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. In Tyne and Wear, right by the sea, is a lighthouse that's been here since 1871. It's steeped in history and apparently has a resident ghost. Now, some of the people that work here have heard, seen or felt strange things. Some of the people here say it could be the ghost of the old lighthouse keeper that died here. Who knows? Most Haunted want to get to the bottom of the phenomena of Souter Lighthouse.
It was the first electric lighthouse in the world. Standing over 75 feet high, it was constructed by Robert Allison to protect ships from the rocks and cliffs of the mainland. It was near here that the famous Grace Darling rescued the survivors of the Forfarshire in 1838. Her niece, Isabella Darling, resided at Souter from 1881. It was an interesting place to work and live, and maybe that's why people say some of the past residents refused to leave.
Now, if there are such things as ghosts, proof that they exist would be absolutely amazing. Now, we're going to be spending the night here, 24 hours to be exact, and that could be enough time to try and catch any paranormal activity on camera. Now, to help me do that, we've got our usual crew. We've got Carl there, and we've got Martin at the back. Give us a wave. And in here, we've got the rest of our crew. They're setting up. We'll see them a bit later on. And, of course, we've got the help of our usual experts. Jason, you've got lots of boxes here. What's this thing?
This is an electromagnetic field meter. It's a little bit more advanced than the one that we've used before. It doesn't make a noise.
I like this one because it makes that noise.
That's the one that makes a noise. This one, it has various different settings for electrical, magnetic energy, standard electrical energy. Well, this one, Yvette, actually is something we've not used before. It's a high-growth thermal clock. And not a high-growth thermal clock. So basically, it measures the minimum and maximum temperatures in a room, which we've used before, but also it measures relative humidity, so we can eradicate natural causes.
OK, so if there's such a thing as cold spots, which is supposedly where a spirit would enter, allegedly, that would pick it up?
This will pick it up. We don't need to watch it all the time. We can leave it in a room, set it up, go back later, and we will know if a cold spot has occurred. These are basically, they're very much like burglar alarms. They're room guardians, so they are motion sensors. If heat moves in the room where this is set up, we will know, or if a cold spot appears in the room and moves, we will know because it will set off and it will screech extremely loud and scare us all to death. And we can run there and then get our cameras out. So that's what they're for, and we have 2 of those to set up. And of course, we've got our old favourite as well, the night shot camera too.
So we're going to be very busy then tonight, aren't we? Hopefully we'll try and pick up some paranormal activity. Keep our fingers crossed. Another member of our team who's on his way to Souter Lighthouse is, of course, Derek Okora. He's our spiritual medium. Now, remember, as usual, he has no idea of the location. We have given him no knowledge or history about the lighthouse. So it'll be really nice to see him when he gets here. I think he'll be a bit phased, though.
Before I came to Souter Lighthouse to work as property manager here 2 years ago, I was unaware that there was any paranormal experiences that had been detected by the staff here.
Well, I've been here 6.5 years, and in that 6.5 years, there's been quite a few odd things going on, not so much scary things.
The main experience that I've had here was the first time I saw somebody that I thought was a member of staff walk past the kitchen window. But when I went to speak to them, there was nobody there.
It was in the middle of the night. It was about 3-4 o'clock. And I actually came into this room, the engine room. I came past those canisters, the air tanks, and I just felt that there was someone in this space I am now just move out of view. And the hairs on the back of my neck and the hairs on my back went up. And I just knew, I sensed a presence as well.
I was up here about 10 o'clock at night with the light on. I was busy locking up, turned the light off, went down the stairs, and somebody was tapping on the outside windows. I know there was nobody there was just me.
I think the person that I saw is most likely to be a keeper here, simply because of the clothes he wore. He was a tall, slim man who had sort of a blue uniform shirt on, and it just seemed to me that that's the kind of thing that they would have worn here.
The ghost, or if you want to call him ghost, is very interested in what's happening with the lighthouse. We'll find that after major building works or any sort of nighttime activities, there's always something happens.
There's been other bits and pieces, things like items going missing. They turn up later on, you don't know where they've been. They turn up in obvious places where you would have looked for them in the first place. And although it's a bit irritating, it's not really scary, just like someone playing jokes on you.
It's playful, it's a bit of fun, it's someone keeping a watchful eye over the place, making sure perhaps that we don't go too far with whatever we're doing here.
I'm not a great believer in ghosts or spirits of that nature, but when you do see things happening, well, you know, you've got to think again.
We think whenever we have something strange going on at the lighthouse or something a bit different experience, then that's the time when he appears, or there's something funny happens in the lighthouse.
Even when you're on your own in the building, it's quite a comforting presence that you have with you. You never actually feel like you're on your own.
We take him for granted more than anything else. I presume it's to him.
And so there's never been a threat. We've never sensed that.
Well, I think he's looking after the lighthouse more than anything else, making sure everything's okay, you know.
This is the engine room, and these large bits of machinery actually operate the foghorns and the light in the lighthouse. But mysteriously enough, tools actually disappear from this room. And they turn up in the most strangest of places. Well, tonight we hope to find out who or what is moving them. Well, this is the room where the lighthouse keeper and his family would have spent most of their time. But strangely enough, I feel like an intruder. This is the corridor that leads straight to the lighthouse tower. Some people say that they've seen strange, ghostly shapes walking up and down here. Now, all the lighthouse keepers that worked here must have walked miles up and down these stairs, so if there are such things as ghosts, why on earth would we want to come back and haunt these stairs? Well, this is the actual light. And it's 4.5 tons of glass, and it sits on 1.5 tons of mercury. And it doesn't really take much to push it, and that's because of the mercury that sends it round. Now, it's said that many a lightkeeper has gone completely mad because of the mercury fumes. It's a real funny feeling up here. It's very, very still. It's a bit creepy.
Whilst the crew were preparing for the night shoot, I decided to have a quick break. And as we all know, some of the strangest things happen when you least expect them.
Are you checking out your bits then? Oh! Is it me?
Well, that's quite interesting actually, because you can hear that thing there and then it's going down. So it's something that is slightly unusual because it's a localised field of electromagnetic energy in front of you right now. Because it's not, you can detect where it ends. See, it's here.
Oh!
That's all right, that's because I'm up and down.
It's gone just like that.
Well, everything has a natural electromagnetic field to it, as we know when we talked about that before. What was strange about that is that that was a localised, what's known as a localised field, so it was detectable around here, not here, not here, not above, not below. So there was no source for that I could see. If it was next to something that was very strong in electromagnetic energy, that would be the reason that I was
But there
picking
was
it up.
nothing
But the
here.
fact there was nothing around it means that it wasn't explainable. It doesn't mean it's paranormal, it just means that it wasn't explainable.
Where did it go to on the counter?
Well, it was up to 1 milligauss, which isn't very high.
Yeah.
And we have to, I think, make clear that that was not a high reading. What was unusual about it was the fact that it was localised. It definitely was localised.
So what? I know you. Right. Say for instance, there's such a thing as ghosts. I have never seen a ghost. I want to see one because I want to be able to.
You need to be relaxed about it.
No, I know, but I want to see one because I want to say yes. I now believe. I don't know whether to believe, and I don't. I'm in right in the middle. But
Well,
at
that's
the same
not true.
time, no, but it's something.
We
That's-
can't prove it. All we can say, what would just happen is this is evidence. Now, electromagnetic energy exists in the atmosphere anyway,
So
everywhere.
what would have been making that noise? Just.
It is an what that was, it is a fluctuation in the natural electromagnetic field of this room. Some people theorise that ghosts are drawing on the natural electromagnetic field of a location to manifest, sort of like using the energy, which is why you pick up fluctuations. That's just a theory. But for whatever reason it does occur, that was slightly unusual. How many times have I said to you, the times when ghosts come are when you're relaxed, you're not thinking about it, we're not concentrating, we're having a bit of a laugh, you're just sat here relaxing and one's come to say hello to you. Perhaps, I'm not saying that as a fact.
Our spiritual medium Derek Akora had arrived. He was certainly surprised to find himself in a lighthouse.
A blinking lighthouse.
Come on. Derek, what exactly are poltergeists?
A poltergeist will have to have a strong personality when in the physical body. Strong, I suppose, mind. A determined mind. So, of course, when they leave the physical body, they're still retaining that energy, that extra energy. And that generally, as far as I understand, will be the makeup of a poltergeist in our atmosphere.
They're often associated teenagers, aren't they, because of all the energy that's
Of
around
course,
them,
yeah.
you know,
That's where they get the
puberty.
greatest energy. And also children. Oh yeah, from children to teenagers. But then again, it's, you know, scientific. At times they say, you know, and no disrespect, Jason.
None taken.
Thank you. But they often say, you know, leading from puberty and what have you, and because of the body chemistry and what have you, there's a very strong link. Yes, I agree to a degree on the energy, but not because, you know, the way it is categorised. I don't believe the total picture of the way it's explained scientifically.
Well, the actual word poltergeist is a German word. It means noisy ghost. And poltergeist seems to sort of go down into two separate categories. That is a location-based poltergeist and what is termed a person-based poltergeist. Now, location-based poltergeists are spirits which move physical items around. Either you see them move or you come back and they have moved. And there doesn't seem in those cases to be a central person, such as Marcella said, a teenager or somebody with a lot of hyperactivity around them. Having said that, there's the person-based poltergeist, where there does seem to be a focus of attention for the poltergeist itself, and that can be a teenager. It might be somebody who is very eccentric or has a lot of excess energy about them. The energy that is described, which is believed to be around poltergeist, is psychokinetic or PK energy. I think it's important to note that there are ghost tales and ghost cases where things move and it's not connected to a poltergeist, so it's a bit of a grey area, but they do stem down as those two main areas.
Derek, what are you expecting to happen here tonight at Souter Lighthouse?
Well, when I first arrived, Yvette, whilst I was still outside, I was very hopeful in the sense at that time that possibly there's activity here in the main building connected to the lighthouse. However, when I walked in, after 5 or 10 minutes, I started to get little bits, little feedbacks, if you like, of residual. What surprised me more than anything else is that the little bits I was receiving and Sam was trying to prompt me with seemed to be taking me out whilst I was in the building, take me out to the building as if I'm linking towards the sea, the water. And then I said, well, okay, at this point, even to this moment in time, I firmly am convinced and I'm hoping sincerely that maybe that when we do the walk, that the little bit of activity, I'd say it's kindred activity. It's a friendly atmosphere. There's nothing negative and alien to me. If it is, it's hiding from me.
In your experience, Jason and Derek, is it likely that there would be a number of spirits? Would they be competing with each other, and would they be from different eras?
Different eras, yes, can be, because of the residual energy and the time spent. It's very easy for me to say, here it is, a lighthouse, so automatically there's got to be ships that are going by. But out there, phew, so many ships, so many wrecks, bump, bump, you know, mines, bang, and wreckages and currents of water. And some of those souls have come in here during those times in visitation.
It's important to know, it's interesting you ask about the different kinds of levels of ghosts, if you like, through different eras. You would expect in any building of any length, that's been around any length of time, that would have different ghosts from different time eras. And I think it's quite, not perhaps obvious, but it's quite, you would expect around a lighthouse that there's going to be shipwrecks. So it's interesting that Derek's picked up on that, because it's something that you would perhaps expect to be around here.
So do you reckon it's time to go? Start the hunt? Okay then.
Yeah.
The team had split into groups. Carl and I were exploring the lighthouse corridor with the help of an EMF meter.
Oh, that's weird.
I feel all right. I don't feel... Just go to those electrical things to prove it's not them. It stops completely.
Oh, I don't like this.
Now this is where we were earlier, where the old phones and
Look, right up to this.
you're right up to the electrical
Look,
bits.
you
It's
get a
not
little
picking
bit
those
there,
up.
listen.
Would Derek, our spiritualist medium, have an answer for this strange activity?
Okay, now this is the engine room.
Yes.
Are you picking anything up in here at all?
A little bit earlier on, off camera, I did pick up a certain amount of energy.
Right.
And that energy wasn't coming from either myself, yourself, or anyone else, physically. So I feel as if there's quite a bit of movement that has taken place, even to the present day now, in this area. Most definitely a man's movements. A man's movements. I feel it's, you see, earlier I picked up both a gentleman, a man, and a woman, and I feel this is a collective force. The man connected to the woman. In another area, the woman would walk, but a man coming here. I keep on, you see, that name keeps on coming with me. In fact, two names are coming through in mind. And one most definitely is William, and the other is Thomas.
Right.
Not connected.
Okay.
And I want to go with the name. It's, you see, with one of these men, I want to talk about the tobacco and the very, very strong, pungent tobacco that could have been probably, I don't know, rolled or something, but a very strong fragrance from this tobacco.
Do you want to try and move on?
Yes, I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Derek wanted to revisit an area where earlier he had sensed some spirit activity.
Now, as I come into this atmosphere here, although looking at the present decor and what have you, I feel as if, you know, my mind is taking me again, you know, residual thought, is if I want to darken this area for some reason, darken. And I feel as if presently You see, I'm getting a feeling here in this atmosphere of covering, trying to block my view. I got this earlier. It's like as if there's someone in the atmosphere trying to cover my view.
Was that what you were talking about when you said hide and seek earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, cover my view. And I feel with this as well, is if I've got an individual spirit that possibly was this way in the physical life, was a person that was, I don't know, a mischievous feeling.
Right.
Mischievous.
Do you know, can you pick up whether it's female or male or?
You know, I feel as if there's also two people, so to speak, loggerheads, a male and a female. And I pick up not such a good rapport between the two of them. It's like as if they didn't see eye to eye over maybe possibly many issues. And you know, I don't know why this is given to me, but I feel as if one wants to see the other not well or not healthy.
Oh, really? Not happy at all?
Yeah, and I feel it's like a cover-up.
Want to keep walking?
Yes, please, yeah, I'm just asking and asking. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel very strongly, like I did earlier, a lot of activity that is not necessarily taking place right at this moment, but I felt psychically, I want to be pulled in here.
Do you mean that people have had psychic experiences and visions here?
I feel so, yes.
Do you want to go in there?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You see, as I find myself here in this room, I feel as if, I'm taking the place of a spirit person, and maybe someone walking in, and maybe there'd be a little bit of a person being startled, or they'd be walking past and they saw, a shape. So I feel at times this can be a very, very, very a strong area in activity.
Is that true, Jason? Does that?
There isn't any activity at all in this room that I know of that's been reported.
Okay. I just feel as if I get the fleeting things coming in.
Right.
Okay. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe just comes here just for resting. Now I'm seeing quite a tall man and a lady. Oh, we go.
Right.
Okay. That's better, Sam. That's better. Actually, this man's rather severe-looking man.
Is this the man with the woman?
Yes.
Is he connected to the man that you picked up with the strong smell of?
Most definitely.
Really?
Yeah, I feel so, yes. And he...
How rough, when you say he's a tall man, can you just give a very rough idea of what you
see,
mean by
because she was
tall?
only very small.
Okay.
Very small indeed. And I just quickly got a mental image of the lady. And I want to say, in hair colouring, virtually like steely grey leading to white. And the hair tone or hairstyle was up in like a bun. If that's what they call it, a bun up here. And in front here, do you know way I can describe that? Like a white dress going down to the ankle area, but like a pinafore, white.
Your face is a picture, because it's almost like you picked up on something, and you're like,
yeah.
you know.
And I feel as if she She had to listen to this man. I feel she loved, you know, time, but she had to follow his every word.
Is she a spirit that is present in the building or haunting it?
She comes here. She's been here. She's experienced here.
Well, what about the man?
I get a conflict, you see. A conflict as if to maybe outside to people, everything was okay, but it really wasn't. I get a bully. A bully.
Mm.
A man behind closed doors.
Really?
Yeah.
When you gave the name William and Thomas, the man you're talking about that's associated with the woman,
Yes.
is it the William or the Thomas?
I feel it could be the William.
Thank you.
Okay, want to move on?
Yes.
Listen to that wind outside. Is
Yes. This is steep, isn't it? Okay. Earlier, I was picking up 5 children. Now, I'm getting more than 5. I'm getting a lot more than 5.
what can you hear? Can you hear them?
I feel as if were they segregated in some way? They were kept. You see, I pick up children, and yet I don't pick up child behaviour. What does that mean, Sam? It's like as if they were in a group of some kind, and they had to do things. They had to. There's hardships linked to these children. Hardships.
Is that within the lighthouse or within the complex?
I feel within the complex.
Okay.
But I get that essence coming up here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a certain amount of cruelty.
Cruelty towards children?
Yep.
Is this connected with the woman or the man that you were talking about before?
I feel the man.
It could have
Oh,
been
someone's just said here, go to the water. And I went down with Chantress. A collision. He was involved in a collision. Something to do with Chantress.
We can check that. We have a list of the various different shipwrecks that are associated with this area.
Chantress. And it sounded like Ericsson.
Is that the name of a person?
Yes. And he, for some reason, pops in here because by him popping in here, he can relive seeing in this area where he and his shipmates went down.
Why does he want to re-experience that?
I don't know. I can't answer that as such. I feel maybe, I don't know, maybe he felt that this here didn't help his conditions, and he's blaming it.
He's blaming the lighthouse, so he's lingering at the lighthouse.
Yes,
Right, oh, I
he's
see.
blaming it. And he doesn't bring what we could. He's not a bad soul, he never was, but he brings that stain of upset into the atmosphere. So he's not here to alarm people, he's just here to, when he comes, and for some reason, it's always when he comes, it seems to be a Sunday.
Right.
Sorry, Evie.
Not so much Sunday.
A Sunday.
Right.
So
That's important.
He is experienced here, or he visits here, or people have seen him here?
He visits here.
Okay.
I feel he stays out the way, but he visits here. But I feel it's not a bad feeling of blame, but seemingly blames here.
Do you want to go.
Can we go back?
The Chandris collided with the SS Exmouth and sank on top of the shipwreck Oslo Fjord. No records of an Ericsson have been found as yet.
I feel, just as I come up to the top step, I heard very clearly a man's voice say, whatever this meant. He's so glad. This should have been Lizard, or someone wanted this to be Lizard, and it was not to be so.
It is called Lizard.
It is?
It's called area, it's known as that.
What does he mean? What is the original name of this now, this lighthouse again?
Souter Lighthouse.
This man is glad that it was not called Lizard Lighthouse.
Right, okay.
He's covering himself up and just wants to stay in the background.
Do you want to go downstairs and maybe we should maybe talk about turning off the lights?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
do that then. Watch your way on the way down, because...
With the lights off, we decided to continue our search in the living quarters. But before we could get there, Derek was being drawn to a room which served as a pantry, where he sensed some unusual activity. It was in this room that in the past, members of the Lighthouse staff had reported some strange and puzzling experiences.
It's interesting that you picked up on an experience in their physical experience, that you say that the lady or female ghosts or spirits that you're perceiving, because one of the people who works here did experience a physical sensation, and you say that it's something to do with the face and the bottom of the legs or
Yes.
the knees. It was actually the foot, and she felt, as she says, a strong hand on the edge of her toes with a slight pull under the freezer door. Shut the door, nobody there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you picked up on a physical interaction. It wasn't quite what Sam told you, but it was in the right direction, so that's interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'd also like to point out is that viewing the two women, the two ladies, one of them was far bigger and more robust than the other. The one I was looking at the left, and she, looking at her now, or earlier, she would be of the size, strong arms, to possibly achieve, you know, this pulling, which would give the impression it could be a man, yes.
Yeah. Well, I said to her, was there any strength in the pull? And she said yes, so that's why we perceived it to perhaps be male, but as you say, it could easily be a very strong female.
Yeah. I also feel as if that female would have been very strongly used to dealing with, you know, meats and stuff like this.
Should we one?
Where do you want to It's alright, it's just the glass, it's just the glass. Calm.
Okay.
I just realised something that you said earlier, actually, which the room next door with the pantry, with the physical experience, you describing a robust woman.
Yes.
When I was with you here, as you'll remember, I'm sure,
Yes.
you described a largish lady with a big stomach and somebody that was quite sort of robust, as you described then. So is it the same sort of feeling?
I feel it could be the same person, yeah. That's why I was drawn in here.
Did you get any names connected with her?
You know, coming through as if I get Isabel or Isabella.
It was very interesting that Derek had picked up on Isabella. We know that she was registered as living here in the 1881 and 1891 national census, but no one had connected her with any paranormal activity in the lighthouse until now.
Someone says, why don't you talk about Ted? Why don't you talk about Edward?
Ted and Edward, are you here?
Let's talk.
I've never said that before, are you here? I feel quite silly saying it.
Who is saying to you, let's talk, why are we not talking about Ted and Edward? Is it still the lady?
Yes.
So is Ted or Edward connected with her?
There's got to be a link. There's got to be a link. Big, pinky, if not pinky leading to red, I would call them jowls, really, with this woman, okay? I've just been made aware here of a dog. It's like a black mongrel dog.
Is it connected to the woman?
Yeah.
I have to say there was no readings here earlier on, so if we do pick anything up in the way we move forward. Nothing registering at the moment.
Okay. This is hide and seek here. Why can't you just be front and go?
I have to admit, when I came in here earlier on to do something, I did not like this room at all.
It does have more of a feeling.
When I sat in that chair, I didn't like it.
Well,
When I first sat in that chair, didn't like it.
Yeah.
I felt like somebody was going to come and say, "Oi, that's my chair."
Yeah.
Well, there are theories about objects being haunted, but I have to say that every single object in this room is not connected to the lighthouse. They are all reproductions. I know that because I was told that. Every one thing, nothing that has any link to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
So that's my imagination.
Probably.
Yeah.
Ah,
Something like
but
that.
let's not discount the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Forget the furnishings, but the area and the situation of things.
If you believe in haunted objects anyway, and if you believe in psychic emanations and vibrations, they can connect to objects,
Yes.
then it's conceivable, if you believe that theory, that certain spirits will be connected, i.e. to the chair, to the table, but not necessarily with the lighthouse. So you may have picked up on something that happened to somebody in that chair somewhere a long time ago in a different place.
No, I think I was being a big girl pansy and just was frightening myself to death as I normally do.
Influence the fear.
It's the fear factor, yeah. Do you want to move on, Derek? Or do you want to stay here a bit longer?
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on, please. Just come through in thought.
The last place we thought Derek would want to go would be Nick Dolan's office. No one had ever seen anything in here.
Lean on you. Clever. I feel as if someone who's been here has suffered deep depression. Oh yes. Oh yes. John. John. You do that to me. I've got someone called John here who... Don't you do that to me.
What's he trying to do?
He's trying to agitate me. That I could be the calm customer in John, and then I could be this angered soul coming in. But on this level here, without a doubt, the name John comes in.
Okay. Right. Do you want to stay on this level for a little bit?
Can we?
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Members of the staff had all reported spoons flying, cold spots, and being physically grabbed. Was there a poltergeist in the kitchen?
We just had a strange EMF fluctuation here earlier.
That was exactly where it was earlier on.
Same height, super shoots out there.
Yeah.
So it's not very nice.
That was really weird.
Is it?
Yeah, it was.
You know, there's this hide and seek business that's going on here. Of that lady's presence.
Do you know what sort of things have been happening here?
Things elevated.
Physical things?
Yeah.
In this room?
In the property. More so led to this room, I feel.
I'd be interested if Sam could tell you what happens.
I don't really see her.
You see her? You see her? Why are you looking like that?
The way she's looking at us.
Well, why not? Why is she looking? She's not going to do anything, is she?
She's not happy with us.
Where is she?
She's there.
Well, come on then, do something.
Come on, Isabella.
She's there.
Are you saying that the physical things that have happened in this room, physical object movement, is down to her?
Yes. Very much so. She gets a big kick out of seeing the expressions of women folk, how they are responding to what she's trying to display.
It was a woman that this happened to, the main sort of event that happened in this room. It
Yes,
was a
woman
woman
to woman.
Yeah.
Well, she's
And
rather...
it caused a big shock too.
Yes, she was rather pleased with the reaction.
Do you want me to tell you what it was? It's quite funny. One of the cooks was working here and she was cooking a big bowl of soup.
Yes.
And she had a ladle, probably not this one, in the soup, and the ladle suddenly went. And the soup went everywhere.
Is she still there?
Yeah.
Was that her?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Another one.
That's come on by itself.
That's come
This
on
has
by
just come on by itself.
It has.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you sure it's not got a timer on there?
Looking to me at that, you need to turn the dial to turn it on. And
That did just come on by itself, but she did that.
She may have done that.
I wouldn't have thought it was on the timer because the timer symbol isn't lit.
Right. But that's weird.
The night wasn't as eventful as we'd hoped, and Jason's motion sensors detected nothing. However, according to Derek, Isabella Darling was causing the main paranormal activity. It was quite exciting to know that we had discovered not just who was haunting Souter, but she was famous as well.
One of the areas that Derek picked up on last night and seemed to link in with psychically were shipwrecks. Now, it's a lighthouse. You'd expect there to be shipwrecks around here. That's why lighthouses are built. So I sort of partially disregarded that as being a little bit obvious. But he did get a few things which he had no prior knowledge of. For example, the name John. And there was a John that lived in one of the rooms or one of the locations within the complex of the lighthouse. And also the name Isabella, who was related to Grace Darling and whose family lived here.
There was a tinge of disappointment, maybe a large tinge, in the sense that it's out of anyone's hands, a spirit who does not, at any given time, want to communicate, either through showing themselves, or even speaking direct, or even showing, symbols to the instrument, the medium.
Derek didn't pick up on some of the things I would have expected him to. He didn't pick up on the lighthouse keeper who haunts the building, who's been seen many, many times. And although he did mention poltergeist activity, it was, in his mind, related to a spirit called Isabella, who hasn't been seen in the lighthouse, as far as we know. However, the hauntings in the lighthouse are quite well attested. They're non-sensationalist, they're not publicity-seeking, they're not published anywhere. And those are the things, really, that I would question a haunting. I believe the testimonials of the people here, but unfortunately, Derek didn't find the ghost I would have expected him to.
The truth is the truth. And if there is not a connection, nothing can be done. It's quite simple as that. Nothing can be done.
Well, there we are, another 24 hours over and done with. Now, we did manage to pick up a little bit of paranormal activity, and Derek did come up with some names that we can historically verify. But the question still remains, is Souter Lighthouse haunted? What do you think?
Oh, my word.
Felt something tingling around my ear and my head.
And I felt something tickle the top of my head, and I thought it was just a cobweb or so. I just didn't think anything of it.
Oh, it's the old one. Answer it, answer it.